I love dressing women. I love dressing men. I love dressing characters in TV. I love helping men and women, step into their magnificence
Yeah.
through their outside, which always and profoundly alters the inside.
Hello, beautiful souls. You're listening to the Angels and Awakening podcast. I'm your host and author, Julie Jancis. Did you know that you can listen to this show everywhere podcasts are found? It's true. Now, I have 3 free gifts just for you. First gift, I give away a new reading each week to a person who's left a 5-star positive review of this show, then submitted it to me using the contact form at theangelmedium.com/contact. I hope I'm calling your number next. Second gift, if you'd like a new daily angel message, join me on Insta at Angel Podcast. Third free gift, if you'd like to know the name of one of your guardian angels so that you can work with them even more closely, go to the homepage of my website, theangelmedium.com, and submit your contact info at the very top. I'll email you back personally with the name of one of your angels. Okay, as we begin the show, I want you to feel the presence of your angels surrounding you. And just know that the loving, positive messages you resonate with today are messages for you from your angels and loved ones on the other side. Hello, beautiful souls. You're listening to the Angels and Awakening podcast. I'm your host and author, Julie Jancis. And friends, today we have a very special treat. We have my friend, Brenda Cooper. She is Emmy award-winning costume designer for The Nanny. You were on E! You've been all over the place. I just love you so much, Brenda. Thank you for being here and spending time with us.
It's my absolute pleasure. I'm glad that we connected. The angels connected us.
The angels brought us together. So, Brenda, there's so much that I want to talk about today, but the thing that I want to start off with is, do you believe in angels?
Okay, that's such a good question because I didn't think about angels until you and I connected. I call my angels intuition.
Yes.
So if it's intuition, for me, I think it's one of and the same. All I can say is when I follow my intuition, which I do, it never steers me wrong.
Yeah.
But the mind is always getting in the way. The mind gets in the way of the heart. And so often we listen to our mind, what our mind wants, instead of what our heart wants. And so I've learned, to bypass the mind and to listen. And you have to wait a little longer. You have to wait a little bit longer to listen to the heart.
What do you mean by that? So you've learned, and is that your tool to wait a little bit longer, wait for that validation that it's really the intuition and the heart talking?
Yeah, it's not immediate sometimes. Sometimes it is. I mean, do you want to hear a silly story of intuition?
I would love it.
This is so silly, but I always share this one of many, many, many. And definitely the star angels have looked upon me in my career, which I used to call them the star gods until I met you. And now I'm like, what am I talking about? It's the star angels. They're always looking down upon me. Last week, I was shopping for William Shatner. Bill Shatner was one of my clients, and I was like, there were the angels. When I needed to find something and couldn't find it, there it was on a rack, and I just look up and go, thank you. But I'll tell you about that. But my silly little story of intuition is one day I was, leaving on a job, and the garbage can in my car was filled, and it's like, oh God, let me just go and throw this away. So I go to just toss it into the trash can, and a voice went, "Don't." And I'm like, what is that? Okay, but I listened to it. I think most people would just go, I just need to empty this can. Excuse me. But I went, no, okay, I'll listen to you. Get back into my car, go and do my job, come back. in the evening, and then go to throw the trash away again. And instead of tossing it, I went, let me just pull out the pieces, because that voice, that was weird. So I start pulling out the pieces. 3 weeks ago, I had lost a shoe. Okay. And I could not find the shoe anywhere. The shoe was in the trash can of my car, and I would have thrown it out and not thought about it. But I listened to my intuition, or the angels, if you want to,
Yeah.
however you want to refer it. And I do like the reference of your angels. And I'm always looking up and saying thank you when stuff happens. Always looking, thank you, thank you. When I can't find something, thank you.
Thank you. I love it. No, that's perfect. I mean, that they're always there, and that is their primary source of communication to us, is through the intuition. Um, I believe that there's lots of different intuitive pathways that they come through, whether it's psychic sight or imagination or inspiration, or just talking to us auditorily. But your angels, your intuition led you to your career. So you have to tell us this story.
Oh, again, in my meeting with you and kind of thinking of us connecting, and we haven't spoken really at depth at all, but you coming into my life opened me up to like looking in it from a different perspective. And in terms of my career, it's like I was led to my career, because I never would have gone, something, I'm going to become a costume designer. It didn't happen like that at all. I was in Los Angeles. This is way over 30 years ago, pursuing a modeling career and an acting career that really wasn't fulfilling at all, and not really going anywhere with it. And that I came to a point where I had to get a job. I lived with my boyfriend. He dumped me, and I had to get a job. And I'm like, what am I good at? What am I naturally good at? I had always just been good at putting clothes together just for myself. It's something that I love to do. So in a way, it was kind of, I was in a desperate situation, and I guess the angels, the style angels, came in, and I started a little consulting business with my girlfriend's mothers, because they could pay me, and I would go into their closets, and I just knew how to reinvent a closet. And then I'm at the gym one day, sitting next to a guy on a bike, and I start talking to him. He asked me what I do. I explain. He goes, I want you to come and do my closet. Okay, so great, fantastic. So I went and did his closet, and he said to me, I have a friend who is an agent for Hollywood costume designers. And I'm like, I know, but I don't have any experience, so she won't want to meet me, being a negative Nelly at the time. And it took me 3 weeks to pluck up the courage to call her. And somehow I kept her on the phone. I have the gift of the gab. I guess my English wittiness and everything. And I had a job 3 weeks later.
Wow.
3 days later, assisting a designer. And 3 years later, I'm walking up on stage to get an Emmy for The Nanny, which was my first job.
That was your first job?
That was my first job as a designer.
No way.
Yes. And it was like, because I had lived, a life of, an actress and a model, and, lived that kind of life, going into wardrobe was a little bit of a shock, because it wasn't respected the way I felt it should be respected. There's a whole hierarchy in the business, and wardrobe is not at the top, let me tell you.
Sadly. It should be.
No, sadly. And I thought, but I'm going to get to the top ASAP. Okay. And I met Fran Drescher on my second job, assisting this designer, Eduardo Castro. And it was with Twiggy and Fran, who was at that point not known. And she said to me, if ever I get my own show, I want you to be the designer. And a year later, she called me. And we both had a love of fashion. I just love putting, I love I'm not going to say I love fashion. I love using fashion to create style.
Mhm.
Okay. So, and I was given a tremendous amount of freedom. I had a really unusual um, opportunity in that Fran and Peter, her husband at the time, just they gave me my wings and they let me fly. That, like, isn't that funny? I always say that.
Yeah.
Is that weird that I always say that?
Wow. Yes,
So
what an angelic reference.
they gave me my wings and they let me fly. I just did my thing. And I just wanted to bring style, wit, and a sense of humor, and elevate the comedy, and loved color. And it
Yeah.
just organically, I started shopping and just, and because also that look, the look that I
Mhm.
created on the nanny was not what was going on in fashion. That wasn't the predominant look of fashion in the early 90s. And there were
Right.
tiny sections in clothing stores. And the one piece that was an inspiration for me was a piece from the show where I met Fran. It was called Princesses. Twiggy had worn it, and it was a Moschino vest. It was in the pilot. It was all striped, and
Yeah.
I love a vest. I just love vests. It's my favorite garment of clothing. Um,
Mhm.
and it was that piece that kind of was the inspiration. And Eduardo had he either gave it to me or I went and bought another one. I can't remember what it was, but I still have the vest. I've had to add 2 inches to each side of it. um, so, but that again, it was just like it was a natural flow. I had found my calling, or rather, my calling had found me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people, it's like, I want to do this. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I didn't. I'm a creative. Didn't know what I really wanted to do. And in a place of adversity, I found my calling, or as I say, my calling found me, because I never would have gone into it just logically.
Yeah.
Um,
No, for
and
sure.
it just lights me. It's still, I mean, we're 35 years later. I did a shoot the other day, a print shoot, and just lit up by the results.
Yeah.
And the photographer was as well. And I used some stuff from the nanny that I still had and repurposed it in a completely different way. I love dressing women. I love dressing men. I love dressing characters in TV. I love helping men and women, step into their magnificence
Yeah.
through their outside, which always and profoundly alters the inside.
Absolutely. So I want to go into that because, and I don't know if you know this about me. I don't even think the listeners know this about me, but you just love what you love. You can't help it. It's just who you are. You're drawn to what you're drawn to. And I loved clothes so much when I was little, like 3, 4, 5. That I would change all the time, just into different outfits. And my mom said I changed my clothes so much because I would have to put on a different outfit for whatever we were doing. Like if we were, and still to this day, like if we're going to go golf, like I change into my golf outfit. If we're going to go play tennis, I change, if we're going to go to dinner, I change into that outfit. But when I was a little girl, I would change my clothes so much that my mom got from like Home Depot a pegboard, and she put all these hooks on it. And instead of hanging up my clothes, because she's a neat freak and she needs everything organized, she
Right.
just taught me how to hang my clothes on hooks. Um,
Mhm.
and I love a vest too. Oh my God. I think I got my first vest when I was like in 6th grade. You know how sometimes you can wear a vest as a shirt with
Yes.
shorts, little
Yes.
shorts. I had the cutest outfit like that I rocked. And then my first couple of years of work, I had the best like white regular like collared shirt with the like this gorgeous gray vest over it. But now I've got much larger boobs than I've ever had before in my life. And I don't feel like I can rock the vest anymore. Maybe you can teach me how.
No, I totally would show you how. But things are coming to me as you're talking, and I'm just thinking that when I was doing Princesses as the assistant designer, we would put vests on Twiggy all the time. So that's probably where the vest idea came from. But
Mm.
also, dressing like you or me and dressing a character on a sitcom in a script is completely different. And her personality, Fran Fine's personality, sassy, confident, outspoken. But I wanted to interweave an element of her self-expression through the environment that she lives in. So, putting a vest on is very English. It's very formal, but doing it in the really bright colors that I would do it in would make it, sassy, and just that form-fitting silhouette. I mean, it was just so great. It was so much fun. It was so stressful.
So
But it was
much
so
fun. I love it. Ready for a little getaway that completely resets your energy? We're hosting a live in-person spiritual retreat called A Whole New You. It's the weekend of October 4th in Oak Brook, Illinois. This spiritual retreat is all about your own personal healing and growth, reconnecting with yourself, learning to connect with your angels. And I'm going to talk about all new angels that I've never talked about anywhere before. And you're going to leave with more personal peace, purpose, clarity, and confidence than ever before. Learn more and see the itinerary at theangelmedium.com/retreat. That's theangelmedium.com/retreat. Links are in the show notes. And friend, I cannot wait to meet you and hug you in person. I love it. So we often think of beauty as like this thing, something to touch or to hold, but the seraphim angels, which I work with them all the time, they've really taught me over the years that beauty is this emotion that we feel. And they say that it's really something that fills us, something that we need just as much as we need love. Do you think beauty is spiritual, and how so?
Julie, it's so interesting that you say that, because we often think as beauty, or we've been programmed to think of beauty, or maybe not programmed, but that it's superficial. But it's not superficial. It's not superficial at all. When you think about it, and it takes me back to a time when my beautiful boys, young men who are young men in their 20s now, were kids, and this woman came into my life when I needed Donna Markova, which is digressing a little bit, but I'm remembering something that she said. And she's working with me and my kids and their thinking styles and everything. And she started talking about beauty and the need for beauty. Like one of the qualities that she needs in her life is beauty, because beauty, it may be an emotion, but it's an experience. I mean, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So let's take it away from image. Let's take it away from people. And let's look at beauty. Look at a rose. A rose is beautiful, right? And let's look at a peacock. I mean, is there anyone that doesn't look at the splay of a peacock or the elegance of a swan gliding? That's all beauty. And what does it do? What does it do to us physically and emotionally when we see something that is beautiful? Okay, it calms the nervous system. Okay, it calms your being and puts you into a state of groundedness.
Yeah.
Or joy.
Yeah.
We've been programmed in society, especially with image, of being told what is beautiful. Okay, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What you might find beautiful, I might not find beautiful. So we each have our own experience of what beauty is. And then when you take it on to a whole other level and, using, science, when you look out at a vista, imagine being on a tall vista, high on a rock, and you look out. What happens? You release.
Oh.
and you release, and I mean, as I'm actually saying it, there's chills going through my body.
Yeah.
And you get a sense of calmness, because what you're looking at is something that is so beautiful. And
Mhm.
without going into it, it kind of goes into a whole thing of color,
Yeah.
of the colors that we're seeing, okay,
Mhm.
and what the mind requires for to be grounded and calm, of being able to see. And sounds a little abstract, but it's not. And I've gone off on a tangent, but not really. Of like, when you look at a vista and you see green trees and you see blue in your field of vision, and this is science, what you're seeing is yellow, red, and blue, which is
Mm.
what the mind requires to be calm, to stay calm, from a visual point of view. And when you look at that vista, the green is the yellow and blue. Okay.
Mm.
The bark of a tree is brown, which is red and blue mixed, canceling each other out. So there's a whole science to, to the experience of beauty. So there is that beauty, as I said, is in the eye of the beholder, and what you find beautiful and what I find beautiful may be the same, or it may be different. What society and marketing tells us is beautiful, it's like we're being told what is beautiful.
Yeah.
May not be my experience. So
Mhm.
beauty is your own experience, and to be surrounded, to be in an environment that is beautiful. I mean, it doesn't have to be expensive, or
Mhm.
anything like an environment and interior design, but something that is soothing. When people walk into my studio, they always think they've walked into a spa.
Mm.
As soon as they walk in, it's like,
Oh, that's lovely.
it's designed in such a way, very specifically, to be very, calming, with
Mhm.
color, with the use of color, which is a huge part of my career,
I love
with
that.
my private clients. So I think beauty is important to all of us.
Mhm.
And what is also important is to find your own beauty, because
Yeah.
again, in my book, I talk
Yeah.
about you finding your authentic beauty. It's like discovering,
Mhm.
celebrating, and accepting
Yeah.
your authentic self, which is always in style. So
Yes.
that goes into the thing of stop comparing.
Yeah.
Stop comparing to what's being shoved in your face every day on social media. 99.9999999% of it is filtered. And to reconnect to yourself and find your inner beauty of what you got dealt a deck. We all did.
Mhm.
And to make the very best of the
Yeah.
deck that you got, to celebrate it, to elevate your confidence, to own it. That's
Yeah.
how, the way I love to work with women. You don't have to be classically beautiful. Who cares? This
Mhm.
is who you are. This is what you got. And even the most beautiful, the most classically beautiful people, believe me, I've worked with them, don't like things about themselves.
Mm. It's so interesting, and I wanna get to your book. I just wanna tie this piece in because this year I stopped and I kinda paused and I watched this TV show on Apple TV, and if anybody is a TV watcher, you know that Apple TV is giving HBO Max a run for their money because they've just got such good shows that they're putting out. But they have this show called The New Look, and it's about, Christian Dior, Coco Chanel, and pretty much what they had to do to survive World War II. And Christian's story touched me so much because he had a sister who was an advocate who was really against the war, who was fighting in so many ways. And she, because of her advocacy, ended up getting sent to a concentration camp. And he didn't want to design clothes because when he was able to get her back, he worked so hard to get her back. And when he was able to, he just wanted to care for her. He just wanted to be there for her. But everybody around him, including her, told him, the world needs beauty and the world needs to find its way back to itself and to unity. And individuals need to find themselves again. And they need something to be inspired by. And I thought it was so fascinating that Seraphim Angels were just talking to me as I was watching this entire series because really his work helped, and the designers of that time helped people find what you were just talking about, the calmness of the nervous system again, when they didn't have calm for so long within the world, that groundedness and really joy and inspiration again. Because I'm looking, if anybody's watching on YouTube, Brenda's got this beautiful background with all of these different pictures and pieces of inspiration. And I have, since I was a little girl, I don't like manifestation boards every January where you just have to go and have
Yes.
to find the magazines and cut out pictures, because
Yes.
not all pictures speak to you.
Right.
But throughout the years, there's just some things that speak to you. Actually, I, Carolina, I forget her.
Herrera. Carolina Herrera.
She was a model. She was a Victoria's Secret model, but she did this Elle magazine fashion shoot back in like the early 2000s. And I ran across on Instagram this old piece from that shoot. And it was
Right.
just so amazing. Like she had, the coolest like gym shoes on, and she was rocking like these cool sweats that were kind of silky, but then she had the coolest jacket on with it and a lot of gold jewelry and hoop earrings and the blonde hair. And I remember pulling that out of a magazine being like, oh, I love this. I like pulling things out of magazines and just images when it touches my heart. I guess where I'm going with this is, this last year, I've been going to Pilates, and it's a small Pilates class, right? Like 12 people, 15 people each class. And I'm just shocked because every time I look around, there's probably me, the instructor, and maybe one other person, but everybody else is in black, like black top, black bottoms. And I wonder if you feel that we've stopped giving ourselves permission to allow beauty in and to allow joy into our lives through clothing.
Well, let's go back to Christian Dior for a second.
Yes.
Okay. Because it's funny that you mentioned Christian Dior, because this wall, one of my passions is fashion illustration.
Mm.
Okay. So this wall is actually, there's a lot of pictures here of René Grau, who was Christian Dior's fashion illustrator. He's one of the greatest illustrators of the 20th century. I think that's Dior. And, you know, I mean, fashion has changed so much,
Mhm.
Julie. I mean, it's kind of unrecognizable today compared to Christian Dior. But the funny thing is, you know, his sister wanted him to do that to bring beauty to the world, which is absolutely noble and completely wonderful. I have to tell you, one of my favorite eras of all time was the 1940s.
Mm. Mhm.
You know, and the pencil skirt, because of the fabric rationing. Okay, so that's why the skirts became pencil skirts.
Oh, I didn't know
Sure.
that.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, the way culture and the times affects fashion is profound. There's
Mm.
always a connection between what's trending in fashion and what's going on politically. And it's really interesting when you start, you know, putting the jigsaw puzzle together. But one of my favorite all-time eras was the 1940s, because I loved those 40s jackets with that very strong shoulder line. One of my favorite looks. I've got loads of them still, and I use them all on, 30 years ago, I used them all on Fran. Not on Fran, on Cece, on the character of Cece Babcock. I
Yes.
did all of the characters. I didn't just do Fran. I did every character on that show. So the 40s was a wonderful time. And the 1947, they called it The New Look. It was called The New Look. And I did see that TV series.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, I thought I would be actually bored by it, but it was actually very inspiring, and it was exciting, and it was really wonderful. And that's where I often think, Julia, again, how do I say this? They've diminished dressing.
Yeah.
You know, it's become really, I think it's really diminished. And the power of dressing, the power of putting on something, you don't have to be dressed up. Like during COVID, okay, I was wearing a pair of black palazzo pants, okay, that were $20 off of Amazon with a black tank, an elongated tank, a silhouette solution thing. And I hadn't written the silhouette solution yet, and a comfortable cardigan. And it was so chic.
Mhm.
I felt good about, in a time when we weren't feeling good about ourselves. I felt good about myself. And yes, I would sleep in it. And yes, I would go out in it. But it looked fantastic. So
Mhm.
you don't have to look horrible. And even if you don't like your body, you don't have to hide it. You
Mhm.
can dress it in a way that elevates your well-being, elevates your confidence. So I think the beauty aspect of discovering your own beauty,
Mhm.
discovering your own attractiveness, and presenting yourself in a way that makes you feel attractive. And so many people that I work with, they don't realize until it's been done, until they've been transformed. And it can either be a big transformation or a small transformation. The elevation of confidence, the elevation of a sense of well-being, the elevation of um, willing to go and step out on a limb and take a risk that they wouldn't have taken before, and the rewards that can come back from that.
Mhm.
I mean, working with people that they don't go out anymore, and as superficial as it sounds, it's not. Okay, I never know how to put clothes together. Someone will say, "I just don't know how to put an outfit together, so I don't go. I don't bother." Okay, I hear it often, and then like snap, 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 snap. Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have this? Do you have that? Go and get it. Let's put an outfit together. Look in the mirror. It's like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I never would have thought of that. And just so simple. And it's not complicated. And for me, it's for women and men to, again, step into full self-expression, you know, so that you can go out into the world. And it's a very challenging world right now,
Mhm.
and have a sense of fulfillment, have a
Mhm.
sense of looking in the mirror and feeling attractive. And as superficial as that sounds, that feeling good about yourself elevates you to go out and do things, take risks, try things you wouldn't have tried, meet people that you never would have met. So,
Mhm.
as I always say, what I do on the outside has a profound transformation on the inside. So for me, it's so I'm so passionate about it, and it's so not superficial.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, from a corporate level,
Right.
the people, they don't understand. It's like, do you understand that when your employees, feel confident, look good, they think that dressing, if you go and read about corporations and what's important and all this, so often you don't even hear about image or the way people are dressed.
Yeah.
It's not mentioned, all these soft skills, but that's not mentioned. But
Mhm.
how can it not be mentioned? Because when you feel good about yourself, I mean, I've gone into corporations and I've worked with employees and done all their colors and changed their image. It creates camaraderie. It
Mhm.
creates an elevation of confidence. It creates a client engagement. I mean, when you want a new client, it's like the first thing they see and judge you on is your image. And if you present an image that is authentic to you and attractive, you know,
Mhm.
client engagement, client enrollment, and bottom line, increase in profits. People want to work with you. I mean, it's people, the way they don't connect image and appearance with bottom line, and increase in profits. I mean, it amazes me because it's so obvious. But
Well, it's so wild because I've been on every end of the spectrum, right? Like, I think in high school it was just popular to wear pajama pants, and so I did. Staying at home in my business, oftentimes I'm writing so much, and so there's months where I don't get dressed because I'm just kind of in a writing zone. My daughter was sick for a couple of years, and just, oh, we were in and out of the hospital for a long time. And just having not any time to myself because her care was so critical, and
yes,
just wanting to be there, putting myself to the side. But, for one of the very first times in my life, I feel like so at peace, and just that I'm not in survival mode, and that style and fashion can actually represent my personality and be a form of spiritual expression,
Right.
where,
But let me say this.
yeah,
Even Julie, even when you're in that survival mode,
yeah,
okay. I mean, having items in your wardrobe that are just because you can't walk around naked. I mean, you
yeah,
can. I mean, today apparently you can. It's just shocking to me. But even when you're at that high level of stress, just to throw on an outfit or have available um, clothes that make you feel good, make you look good. Even when you're feeling absolutely awful, it's like don't wait until you're feeling better to look good. Okay. And when I say look good, I'm not in that kind of survival mode. It's not about looking good for out there. It's like looking good for you, to make you, to elevate you a little bit through those really difficult times. You
yeah.
know,
I'm
that's
so
what.
glad that you said that because it was actually doing that for myself during my spiritual awakening that helped me, I think, get to another level of my spiritual awakening. About a year into my spiritual awakening, I'm not a person who loves Valentine's Day. I don't know why. I'm like pure love the rest of the
Right.
364 days a year, but that one day pisses me off
Right.
because I think I'm a really hard person to buy for, and I know that I always feel let down. So, I decided I'm going to make myself feel good. I'm going to go out and get myself a present, and I ordered myself like a couple of different pairs of shoes for work offline, and it felt so good. And it began a process of me kind of tossing things one at a time and just pulling in pieces that I really love. And that were kind of timeless. But you have this book, The Silhouette Solution, and
Right.
yeah, I had a copy of it before I even like it was so crazy because I'm wait, you're that Brenda Cooper? No way. And so I love this book. You have such spiritual references in here. Talk to us about what the silhouette solution is and how people can really find their own personality and their own wardrobe and expression.
Right. Well, I love that you say there's a spiritual aspect because although it's not obvious, I mean, I start off the book with dealing with your inner closet.
Mhm.
The first two chapters, your inner, we all have an inner closet of limiting beliefs, and so I address that, and we go through the clothes in your closet that are your camouflages, because we've all got them, and
Mhm.
then your approval seeking clothes, that you may have bought, because, you'll fit into the group, even though you may not really like them yourself. Okay. Or the trend items. I'm buying it and I'm wearing it because it's on trend. I take you through that. I take you through, I want people to go into their closets and have an honest, that chapter is called Candid Closet Conversations. So the first part of the book is that, and then I show you a system of dressing that I have used for decades that has worked regardless of your weight, shape, size, age, budget. It works in any geographical location for any event, and it's stylish and comfortable based on 4 tops, 4 bottoms, and there's 8 shoes, 4 flat and 4 heels, and you create a silhouette for yourself. That's why it's called the Silhouette Solution. And over that you express your personality. Are you a bohemian type? Are you traditional? I mean, because I don't want to deliver a capsule wardrobe that you have to look this way. I've delivered a system where you use the foundational formula to create your own image, your own self-expression. Are you a romantic? Do you like frilly, ruffly clothes? Are you a minimalist? Do you like clean, spare kind of silhouettes so that you can find your true self through this? And so it's about being quick, it's easy, it's about, it's about a newfound fashion freedom. What it's about accepting your body with loving kindness, finding your true style ID. coordinating easy, comfortable outfits, because I don't want you to be frustrated anymore. I want you to walk into your closet and you easily and confidently put a fabulous outfit together with a top, a bottom, a shoe, and what I call a personality piece that is attractive, appropriate, and you get out of the door in a fraction of the time. Okay. And especially for mums, working mums, you're dealing with a million things. You know, the last thing you get to think about is your own image, because you're taking care of a house, a husband, kids, school, work meetings. You don't get to think about you. And I have a system that, bam, you will look fabulous walking out the door quickly and easily, and feeling confident and owning the room, and being able to take those risks and feel good about yourself.
Mhm. And do they pull you aside as models and teach you this? Because I worked at one of the best crab houses in high school, Bob Chin's Crab House, and there was a woman who the son married, who was a model, who also worked there at the time, and she said the exact same thing. Like, you have Julie, she's like, you have 4 pairs of pants, 4 tops, 4 jackets, and you just kind of interlace and you intermix, but it's timeless. It's not fashion. It's the stuff that you really love and want to wear season after season.
Right. Well, you know something, there's so many systems of dressing that you
Mhm.
could choose from.
Well, I love your system. I mean, I think it's ingenious, 4, 4, 4, 4, because it's easy, like you can do that. I think a lot of people look at fashion and style and think it's going to be so expensive, or they have to buy so much, and it's not.
You
It's
don't.
it's
Well,
very simplistic the way you have it lined out.
no, totally. Because I mean, even the tagline of the book, using what you've got, okay, which isn't on it, it's using what you've got to get the look you want. You can
Mhm.
start off with, I guarantee the pieces in my book are in your wardrobe already. You
Mhm.
just don't know how to put them together. So for me, my mission and purpose was to truly make getting dressed a simple experience, and having you look in the mirror and be wowed by the reflection that you see back. And I've had it many times. I've worked corporately with women who are being elevated to another position, and they've got the skills, but their look does not match their skill level or the level of executive that they're going into. Come to Brenda
Mhm.
and transform you easily and simply. And the thing is, I don't follow the rules of fashion, never have.
Love
Okay.
it.
Okay. It's about what fits and flatters your body,
Mhm.
and I advise going against the trends, because they don't always flatter. But what
Mhm.
we want to find out the silhouettes that fit and flatter your body the
Mhm.
way you are, and not when you've lost 10 pounds, today, now. And this system, I put it on size 2s and size 22s, and somehow it seems to work. And for me, I mean, what my product that I put out to the world and sell is confidence. How
Mhm.
I get you there is through clothing, through
Yeah.
what you wear. And I just say the style angels, it's like, I mean, they always they're always looking down upon me. I mean, I was shopping for Bill Shatner the other day, and I had to get this specific outfit, a specific look, and I could not find it. I couldn't find shopping, nothing was like, wow. Because when I see it, it's like, bam, couldn't find it, couldn't find it, couldn't find it. Went down to REI, couldn't find it. Walk over to the sale rack. One jacket, one in the right size. I'm like,
Wow.
thank you. And the producers just sent me pictures of him, and how fabulous it looked. And I just love dialing it in. We all have natural talent. And what I promote is discovering and finding that which is your natural talent. And it could be any number of things. It could be the ability to think into the future, the ability to think into the past. There's an amazing book that was written many, many years ago called Now Discover Your Strengths.
Mm.
And it's by Marcus Buckingham, and it shows you 35 different thinking styles. Okay. And you find your thinking styles, and then you find the career that works for you. You
Oh,
know, I found a career that works for me. I love to be in movement. I love to go shopping. I love to be looking in stores. I love to be driving. I love to be discovering. I love the hunt. It's like being an archaeologist of style, finding it. Um, and it just works for me. And the fact that I can contribute to women and to men, and to contribute to the elevation of their confidence and their empowerment, it just does it for me. I love doing it. I love doing it.
Yay. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so glad that you do. I really feel, Brenda, that my mom, also Brenda, she got her confidence back watching The Nanny and watching her style and her confidence. I saw my mom go through her divorce and not hold her head down, but keep her head high. And in 1996, really want to embrace style and what she was wearing, to come out of that period of her life and make herself feel good. So thank you so much for the road that you've paved for so many of us. And actually, as I was kind of going back and watching Fran and The Nanny, I was like, oh my gosh, I think that show paved the way, because Sex and the City came out not too long after it. And Carrie Bradshaw doesn't have the exact same style, but I think her wardrobe is like the closest to The Nanny in her own
Well,
flair.
you won't believe this. I've never seen Sex in the City.
You haven't?
So even though I work in television, have worked in television, I've never seen Sex in the City. And what I've seen of it, what
Mhm.
I've seen of it, and I know it was an amazing show and it was amazing. Patricia Fields did an amazing job. But
Mhm.
what she was doing was definitely putting trends. She was putting trends on the actors, which was very successful. My show, The Nanny, I wasn't following trend at all. I was creating style. I was using the fashion to create a definite style. And I have to say, there's nothing more fulfilling for me than to hear over the years how the show and her look have helped people through hard times, have helped so many people find their career, find their passion, helped people elevate their confidence. Even one gentleman said to me, I'm gay because of you. Like, I'm glad I could help. But it's had such an impact beyond just putting clothes on your body. So how anyone can ever think that getting dressed and your self-expression, your most personal form of self-expression, is superficial, I can't even comprehend it.
Oh, I love it. Brenda, thank you so much. We've got the style solution. If you go on Amazon, it's got this pink
Oh,
top and these
the
beautiful,
silhouette solution.
the silhouette solution. What did I say?
The style solution.
Oh,
It is a style solution, but the book is the silhouette solution. And
the book is.
Fran wrote the foreword for me.
Yes, Fran wrote the forward, and Brenda will put this link in the show notes so that everybody knows where to purchase it. But where can people find you? And do you work with just, everyday people? If
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I mean, my private clientele, is wonderful. Yes, I work with many, many people, all different kinds of people. I actually did a set of twins the other day, and I did their colors. Okay. Because the color consulting is something I've done for 20 years. I mean, it's trending now, and I think it's a bit dodgy. I have to be really honest, because it's very difficult to actually do somebody's colors online, because monitors are all very different and they show up. I mean, it's something I've done and absolutely passionate about. Again, life-changing. The person that taught me that was an angel that came into my life and literally changed my creative life. She's no longer with us, but she literally changed my creative life when I learned about the power of color, not just in our wardrobes, but in our lives because of what it is, which is electromagnetic energy.
Well, you got to tell everybody, we can't just end there. Then you have to tell everybody a little bit about that color and the secret to color.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, I mean, the whole color thing, it's like, so it's all over the place right now, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, your colors, finding your tone of color is critically important to you looking your best. Okay. So it's never about the color. It's never about, I can wear red, but I can't wear blue. Never. It's about the tone of color that harmonizes with your skin, because color does one of three things. It can either illuminate you, which is what we want it to do. You put two colors together and they boost and illuminate each other, or color can dominate you, and that all you see is the color the person's wearing, a lovely color, but all you see is the color that they're wearing and you don't see them. Or it drains you and makes you look sick. Which makes you look tired. You've gone into work, or people have said, oh God, you look tired or you look sick, and you feel perfectly fine because the color does not harmonize with your skin. Okay.
Huh.
And that's the effect of two colors with each other. They can either illuminate, dominate, or drain. Okay. And when you're wearing the colors that illuminate you, you look like royalty. You are so charismatic. Okay. Because it's harmonizing with your undertone. And your undertone is the color of your blood. This is a whole other thing that we probably don't have time to get into. But people are so wowed. And when I work with people, it's like, I never would have worn that color. I never would have worn that color. And I was like, I know. I had one lady, these are the colors that my mother dressed me in, so I never wore them. And I said to her, do you know that your mother did the greatest thing for you? She knew how to dress you to look absolutely fabulous. Okay. And it shifted her whole thinking. Yeah, not only with her colors, but with her relationship with her mother. I mean, again, it goes that far. So the whole color aspect of your appearance, it's the first and the most important thing that I always work with. And FYI, your whole environment is in beautiful, soft, harmonious colors, Julie. But that's very powerful. One of the aspects of, and then finding your style ID, finding the clothes that fit and flatter your body. Not that are on trend, but fit and flatter your body.
Oh, I can't wait to go deeper. This is going to be so much fun. I could talk to you all day, Brenda. This is amazing. The Silhouette Solution, we're going to put the link to that in the show notes below. But where else can people find you? On Instagram, on your website?
Yes, they can. The best way to find me is on Instagram, Brenda Cooper Style. DM me. I post every day. You can take a look at my website, brendacooper.com. But Instagram is the best way to, if you want to contact me directly. But Julie, I do have to say it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. And thank you for coming into my life. You're an angel that came into my life just recently through a dear friend of mine. And just in the short time that I know you, looking at things a little differently, looking at things, as angels, my angels and my intuition, partnered together, very powerful. And with the message that you send out to people, I mean, I'm totally supportive of following that intuition, because when you follow your intuition, I don't think I've ever gotten the wrong answer. And even in difficult times when you're stressed and fearful and anxious, of which right now there's so much of it in our space with people, with the way the world is changing, what I'm doing is just, I could go into fear over a situation. It's like, no, take a breath and just listen. And the answer is, you're going to be absolutely fine, Brenda.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Style Angels.
Thank you, Style Angels.
Okay. Oh, Brenda, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Julie, thank you. I love the connection. Let's stay in touch. It was an absolute delight. Okay.
You too. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Friends, I need your help reaching as many people as possible. If you'd like to support this podcast and help us spread more hope to the world, please book a session with me. join my angel membership, or take my angel Reiki school. What's the difference? If you'd like to know what messages your angels and loved ones have for you, you'll want to book a session with me. The angel membership is all about your own personal spiritual healing. The membership takes you on a spiritual journey that teaches you how to create your own heaven on earth. And the Angel Reiki School is for those who want to get certified in mediumship, angel messages, and energy healing all at once. These are 3 ways you can help us share a message of hope and love with more people than ever before. Register for one or all 3 at theangelmedium.com. That's theangelmedium.com. Now, let's pray together. As we do, I want you to pray in a way where you feel as though everything you want for yourself and the world has already come true, and you're giving thanks. Why? Because this is the best way to manifest. So let's begin. God, universe, source, thank you. We're so grateful that you've blessed this world with calm and peace for all. This calm and peace has spread like ripples, soothing the hearts of every soul. Thank you for opening our hearts to abundance, allowing each of us to live our most authentic life, and helping us to create our own heaven on earth. We thank you for the love and deep heart-to-heart connection that surrounds us every day in our relationships. We thank you for the abundance of health and aliveness we feel radiating from every cell in our and our families' bodies. Thank you for the gift of walking this life with us and guiding us every step of the way through your messages. We hear you through our own intuition, and we feel you walking right by our sides, and we overflow with gratitude. Thank you for financial abundance, an abundance of opportunities and miracles, blessings, and prosperity in every way. We know that you want us to succeed so that we can show others how you want them to succeed too. Thank you for the boundless love, kindness, empathy, and compassion that binds us all together. Thank you for the laughter, fun, moments of pure delight that fill us every day, especially today. God, universe, source, thank you for blessing us beyond measure and allowing us to use our souls, gifts, talents, skills, and abilities to serve the world. We love you. I love you. And in this we pray. Amen. Friends, we're working on some pretty major things over here. And if you wouldn't mind saying a little prayer that these things come to fruition if they're God's will, we'd so appreciate it. And please add a little prayer in for any specific thing you need right now too. Have a beautiful, blessed day. And don't forget to submit your contact info at theangelmedium.com if you'd like me to channel the name of one of your angels for you. Sending you peace, bliss, and many blessings.